with an impressive man, Nathan Hochman. I don't often have people running for office. It would obviously be impossible to have on everyone that I support. But California is unfortunately an extremely important state, the most important state. B, attorneys general have an extremely powerful role, and more so than ever. And we have a very quality man here, a Republican, Nathan Hochman, Hochman, and his website is up at DennisPrager.com. You can connect with it there or just go straight to it. I was asking you what was one of the most important themes of your campaign, and these horrible district attorneys, prosecutors who are letting criminals out to hurt people, like George Gascon. That is an example. What else are you running on?
So the number one issue I'm running on, Dennis, is safety and security. And the reason it is that issue is, and this is why, by the way, a Republican can actually win for the first time in a generation. It's been actually 28 years since a Republican held the position of California Attorney General. That was Dan Lundgren, winning in 1994. But the reason I think I can win this year is twofold. First, the conditions on the ground have gotten bad enough, sadly for California, but productively for my campaign, that it's been a wake-up call, not just for Republicans, but Democrats and independents as well. They are fed up, they are frustrated, and they are afraid to send their children out at night, their parents, their neighbors. And when you have that type of wake-up call, and for the first time in a generation, safety and security is polling as a top 3 issue for Californians, you now have the ground is ripe for change. Then you have the other factor, which is who's actually running in the race. I have 30 years of criminal justice experience. I've been a federal prosecutor, I've been a U.S. Assistant Attorney General, and I've even been a defense attorney. I have a calibration of who the public safety threats are who need to be behind bars, and the ones who can serve their debt to society in some other way, like community service for a first-time nonviolent offender. My opponent, on the other hand, is a guy named Rob Bonta. Rob Bonta was appointed by Gavin Newsom. He has 3 huge strikes against him. Number 1, he has absolutely no law enforcement experience whatsoever before he took the job as the chief law enforcement officer of the state. Number 2, he has virtually no statewide name recognition, which is usually a huge advantage of an incumbent. And 3, he thinks that George Gascon in LA, Chesa Boudin in San Francisco are doing a great job.
He has said that.
He has endorsed them. You can actually go on the internet, go on my website, and see a beautiful selfie of Rob Bonta and George Gascon endorsing each other. And he has basically taken a variety of positions that completely endorse the George Gascon far left, let those criminals out agenda. In fact, I brand these 2 guys the let 'em go guys, and the tagline is they don't want to do their jobs, we need to let them go and bring in someone who will.
How do you break through the mainstream media iron curtain?
The way I've been breaking through the mainstream media is that every time George Gascon, for instance, does something incredibly stupid, like, for instance, when he said recently that he would not send any DAs to parole hearings to back up the victims. It could be a murderer, it could be a serial rapist, is up for parole, and the victims want to appear, normally the DA shows up. If not the DA, you'll have the Attorney General show up. They both have decided not to show up and represent the victims. George Gascon had a policy of never trying a juvenile as an adult, no matter how heinous the crime, no matter if it was 1 day before their 18th birthday. He would not try a juvenile as an adult. Rob Bonta, the Attorney General, has never come into Los Angeles to countermand any one of these decisions. My most favorite decision that shows the idiocy of their positions and the reason why I think Californians will change was, if you recall, there was an LAPD officer that was gunned down by 4 gang members while he was off duty. George Gascon said he was going to apply his blanket policy of not bringing a gang enhancement, they were gang members, not bringing a gun enhancement, they used a gun. Sheriff Villanueva said, I am not going to bring that case to George Gascon. In fact, he brought it to the feds, the U.S. Attorney's Office, because they had a life without parole statute that fit the crime. What I told Sheriff Villanueva when he endorsed me, a Republican, he's a Democrat, he endorsed a Republican, the only statewide Republican he did, so I said, Sheriff, if that case ever occurs again, and I'm the Attorney General, and George Gascon is in power, I will bring the entire California Attorney General's office, we have 4,000 lawyers, into Los Angeles, take over that case, and you can go to the state courthouse, and you do not have to go to the federal courthouse to get justice for an LAPD officer.